Hello and welcome to UCA News at Noon. I'm Holly Moore and here's today's headlines. Amanda Knox has been greeted by cheering supporters as she returns home to America. David Cameron is to address the Conservative Party conference in the next hour. A 40-year-old woman has died after a helicopter crashed in New York City. First, here's your top story. Amanda Knox has returned home to overjoyed family and friends after being cleared on appeal. Amanda Knox looked tired and frail after being freed on appeal for the murder of British student Meredith Kercher. Jubilant cheers from supporters greeted her arrival home in Seattle. Overcome with emotion, she spoke briefly to the media.
I was looking down from the airplane and it seemed like everything wasn't real. What's important for me to say is just thank you to everyone who's believed in me.
Her father, Kurt, denied reports that Amanda would earn millions of dollars for selling her story. The family of Meredith Kercher said they will continue to look for the truth behind her murder.
As I said, we were pleased with the outcome, but it wasn't a time of celebration then. And this time round, it's also still the same because it is difficult. We still have no answers.
The acquittal of Knox and her former boyfriend Raphael Solecito leaves Rudy Good as the only person convicted of Meredith's murder. In Home Affairs now, Prime Minister David Cameron is due to address the Conservative Party conference at 2:30. Cameron will insist that Britain's economy can be turned around, and he will use his speech to call for optimism and a can-do attitude. The Conservative leader will urge patience and calm while trying to quell fears about the growing Eurozone crisis. The main message will be a call for Britons to grin and bear it whilst ministers strike. For a full report, tune in to UCA News at 6 o'clock, where political correspondent Sam Hanson will bring us all the news from the conference in Manchester. BlackBerry have come under fire over the past couple of days after a series of network failures. Our correspondent, Edward Haraf, has a full story.
Millions of BlackBerry users, myself included, have suffered a third day of disruption, just hours after services were supposedly returning to normal. The initial blackout saw data services disrupted between Europe and the Middle East. Mobile phone store Carphone Warehouse declined to comment on the situation as they felt that it would put a strain on the relationship that they have with BlackBerry maker RIM.
Where's the Mobo thing?
The Canadian smartphone company, which makes the BlackBerry, has reported losses of £1.9 billion in market shares to rival smartphone makers iPhone and Android. We asked consumers about how the disruption was affecting them.
So, what phone do you have?
iPhone.
And do you think the BlackBerry disruption will affect the sales of the iPhone or the BlackBerry?
I think it might increase iPhone sales because when the BlackBerry's down, lots of people buy BlackBerries because of things like BBM, and so if those things are going to be down and it's not trustworthy, then people might just buy an iPhone. So.
Do you think this opens up the market for iPhone and Android?
Definitely. So many people have BlackBerries for the reasons that make BlackBerry like BBM and all the messenger things, and so I think that definitely because you can get the same apps and things on iPhone and Android because it's so open now.
My phone still works, so I've still got internet connectivity and stuff like that, but yeah, see it 2 minutes ago, it's working fine.
BlackBerry will be hoping that the disrupted services do not continue on into a fourth day. Edward Hereth, UCA News.
In American news now, a British woman has died after a helicopter crashed into New York's East River. Sonia Mara was accompanied by her partner and her parents for her 40th birthday tour of New York. Eyewitnesses told how the helicopter started to splutter after takeoff and began to spin out of control.
It took off, spun around, and just went right in. It turned, the helicopter.
Coming up later on, we have a preview of tonight's MOBO Awards. But first, in sport, Martin Johnson is set to name his England side to face France ahead of Saturday's Rugby World Cup quarter-final. Johnny Wilkinson looks set to retain his place in the England team despite concerns over his form and fitness. Toby Flood was in line to replace Wilkinson after setting up the winning try against Scotland last weekend, but it appears Johnson will keep the faith with England's 2003 World Cup hero. In athletics, Britain's Mo Farah has capped a memorable season by being named European Athlete of the Year. Farah won gold in the 5,000 metres at the World Championships last month, becoming Britain's first world champion over the distance. And in Formula One, Jenson Button has ended speculation over his future by signing a multi-year contract with McLaren. The 2009 world champion joined McLaren in 2010 and currently sits in second place in this year's Drivers' World Championship. I've said the Mobos bit. Now in entertainment, the Mobo Awards are to take place in Glasgow tonight. It's the second time the event has been held in Scotland. Jessie J leads the field this year just ahead of Wretch 3-2, Adele and Tiny Temper, who all have 4 nominations. 23-year-old Jessie J could be named Best UK Act at the ceremony that celebrates music of a black origin. Now for the weather. Today's weather will be dull and damp over the northern parts of the UK. The southern parts of the UK will be warm but cloudy with some sunny intervals and brisk winds. Temperatures will be on the mild side, reaching 17 degrees in the south, but high winds throughout the country will make it feel cooler, and those will continue through the night with temperatures dropping to 10 degrees in southern England. Whereas the outlook for Scotland and northern parts of England looks bleak. Persistent rain will continue throughout the night with temperatures dropping to 7 degrees. For more weather, go to www.ucanews.co.uk/weather. That's it for today. Join us again at 6 o'clock where Tom Simpson will bring you the evening news. Goodbye.